Welcome, and thank you for your interest in CODA's Organic Week event, Organic 101, an overview of the Canadian Organic Certification System. You'll learn a lot today, so after the session, be sure to visit organicweek.ca and take the IQ quiz to be entered for a chance to win some wonderful organic prizes. We're seeing the word organic everywhere these days, so as a consumer, it can be extremely confusing. And it's not just the word organic. There are so many logos on food product packaging these days, it can be difficult to know what each one means regarding the food inside. In order to look at how the organic movement got started, let's first think about the agricultural methods used by humans. When did this become this? In the late 1940s and early 1950s, organic emerged as an alternative to what had become mainstream agricultural practices that increasingly used synthetic pesticides and other chemical inputs. Over the next 2 decades, groups of concerned individuals started talking about the interdependence of the health of the soil, the foods and animals raised off of that soil, and what that all means for our bodies, our health, and our planet. These discussions led to the development of organic standards as a way to define agricultural practices that rely on natural biological processes instead of synthetic inputs. The International Federation of Organic Agricultural Movements, IFOAM, based in Germany, presented their organic norms and standards in 1972. Subsequent development of regionally specific standards took place in Europe in 1991, the United States in 2002, and Canada in 2009. There is not one common global standard for organics worldwide because each country or region acknowledged the need for their organic standard at different times. In addition, the differences in climate and topography mean that some countries require written standards that would never be relevant in another. Specific production requirements for organic bananas grown in the tropics would never be used in Canada. Domestic supply constraints and market competition are some of the other forces that drove the development of regulated organic standards in different regions. This definition from Merriam-Webster sums up how this new method of farming has come to be known. Organic, an adjective of, relating to, yielding, or involving the use of food produced with the use of feed or fertilizer of plant or animal origin, without employment of chemically formulated fertilizers, growth stimulants, antibiotics, or pesticides. Before the 20th century, organic was only really used in organic chemistry, regarding something related to or containing carbon compounds, or having to do with a bodily organ. In order for a product to be called organic, many jurisdictions, including Canada, have standardized rules that must be followed. While some countries have only one document that incorporates all of the rules for organic production, Canada has federal regulations within the Safe Food for Canadians regulations, along with detailed standards and permitted substances lists. There is an operating manual for the Canada Organic Regime, also referred to by its acronym CORE, which was written by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, the CFIA, and which supplements these regulations and standards. In addition to all of these, there is a Standards Interpretation Committee, which responds to questions about the standard when interpretation is not shared by different users. All of these regulations and standards are available for anybody to download online, and they are very detailed in many respects, which can help Canadians gain even more confidence in what it means when something carries the label claim organic. Some common principles written into organic standards around the world include these 4, which were first written by IFOAM, the same group that wrote the first organic standards and norms back in 1972. The principle of health states that organic agriculture should sustain and enhance the health of soil, plants, animals, humans, and the planet as one and indivisible. The principle of ecology says that organic agriculture should be based on living ecological systems and cycles, work with them, emulate them, and help sustain them. The principle of fairness says that organic agriculture should build on relationships that ensure fairness with regard to the common environment and life opportunities. And the principle of care, that organic agriculture should be managed in a precautionary and responsible manner to protect the health and well-being of current and future generations and the environment. As general principles, these are not regulated statements that are measured in the same way that the actual standards are, but they are principles upon which the rules written into the standard are based. As an example, social justice is not currently a part of Canada's organic standards, technically speaking, although it is referenced under the principle of care. Some of the common rules of organic standards that are shared between Canada, the United States, and the European Union, among others, include the expectations shown on this slide. Soil fertility is maintained by management techniques such as using cover cropping and crop rotation to build up nutrients in the soil instead of monocropping and then spraying chemical nutrients because they're no longer found in the soil itself. Biological diversity improves soil health, provides a better environment for pollinators, and encourages natural predators as pest control measures. Organic farming helps mitigate the effects of climate change. It takes 3 years with no prohibited inputs until soil is ready to grow organic products. Livestock are guaranteed access to pasture, fed grass unless they're indoors during the winter when fed with organic non-GMO feed, and they are not given growth hormones. Livestock are given preventive health care, adequate living space for their breed and stage of life, and they're allowed to exhibit natural behaviors such as rooting for pigs. Antibiotics are banned unless the health of the animal is at risk, and then only under a veterinarian supervision. No meat coming from those animals would ever be allowed as organic, and dairy only after clearly defined withdrawal periods. Lastly, livestock in organic farms are never raised in cages. Genetic engineering is an ever-changing field, and organic production does not allow these processes or products from these processes to be used. A product labeled as organic must contain at least 95% certified organic ingredients, and the other 5% can only be made up of permitted substances. Lastly, documentation is maintained to ensure that organic production can be reviewed to verify compliance with respect to all processes used to make it and all ingredients that went into it. Every operator creating an organic product is subject to third-party oversight by government-accredited organic certification bodies. So from this label, that means that Nature's Path, who makes the final hemp heart cereal, all the way down to the farmers who grow the oats and the cane sugar and the soybeans that make the soy oil, and every other organic ingredient, are all subject to this third-party oversight. In Canada, it's the CFIA, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, who accredits these certification bodies. The cane sugar that isn't grown in Canada must still be certified either directly to the core or via an equivalency arrangement, so that government oversight in that case may be a different country's accreditor. This oversight includes at least annual organic inspections where the entire operation, either the production facility of the cereal or the farmland of the crop producer, is visually inspected and all operational elements are assessed to ensure that they are in compliance. This includes their pest control and sanitation practices, their documentation system to ensure that they can prove that all ingredients used are certified organic to the correct standard by an accredited certification body, and at least 2 unique random audits are performed. One to ensure that they had enough organic ingredients on hand to produce the amount that they did during a certain period of time, and another to ensure that a finished product can be traced back by unique lot numbers all the way back to confirm the exact status and origin of all of its ingredients. Regarding the organic versus natural debate, as you can see here on this slide, Organic products that are regulated by the federal government and overseen by accredited third-party certification bodies can be confirmed to meet all of the questions on this slide in terms of processes and ingredients that could be found in any other non-certified organic products, including those that carry the natural label. Natural products simply do not have this same level of oversight. So as a consumer, how are you supposed to know what's in it or how it was made if all it says is natural? So what's the Reader's Digest version of what organic means when it's on a product label? The principal goal of organic production is to develop operations that are sustainable and harmonious with the environment. In Canada, organic certification applies to the product based on the process by which it was made. The standards lay out detailed rules which are overseen by those third-party certification bodies who conduct at least annual inspections. In general, the Canada Organic regime prohibits toxic synthetic pesticides and fertilizers, genetic engineering, also known as GMOs, in seed, feed, and ingredients, artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners, and preservatives, and the use of any cleaning or pest control chemicals that could jeopardize the organic product or its packaging. In terms of what the Canada Organic regime covers, the scope of the Canada Organic regime at the present time is limited to food commodities. The focus of the earliest organic standards and regulations in Canada were crops, livestock feed, and processed products for human consumption, including both food and drink. Products from aquaculture, such as salmon or shellfish, were recently added to the scope of the Canada Organic regime. But these aren't the only products that we might see labeled as organic in Canada. Since the turn of the century, more and more organic products have been introduced to the marketplace and may be seen on store shelves. Some of the categories of products that are not currently under the scope of the core include textiles, personal care products, and natural health products, also called NHPs. Similarly to how organic standards for food arose, some of these other industries have also seen the development of organic standards specific to that type of production. While these labels may not carry the Canada Organic logo, nor be certified to the Canada Organic regime, because they're not in the scope of that regulatory authority, their labels may use the word organic to describe them, provided that they are certified to a known standard for that type of item by an accredited certification body. An example of this would be organic bed sheets certified to the Global Organic Textile Standards, or GOTS. The USDA's organic standard permits more than just foods to be certified as organic, which is why you might see the USDA organic logo on products such as lip balms and pet food here in Canada. I put this slide in because it's something that many of my training participants over the years have found interesting, and so I wanted to share it with you today. As the organic industry grew, some supporters felt that organic certification should only be permitted for single ingredient primary products, items like apples, broccoli, or almonds. From the perspective of encouraging consumption of only whole foods, this makes some sense. However, it doesn't take into account the benefits accruing to our planet from increased organic production. If we look at an example, say, of frozen pizza, one can easily imagine the increase in organic acreage under management as a result of the demand for organic tomatoes for sauce, organic livestock for pepperoni, organic grains for dough, and other assorted organic vegetable crops for toppings. Therefore, from an environmental point of view, it is clear that increased production of organic processed products will be significantly more beneficial for the environment than it would be to limit certification to only primary products. We'll shortly talk about what specifically to look for on labels, but if you see this Canada Organic logo, you can be assured that the product you're buying is certified organic. This logo is a trademark owned by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. It is permitted for use on organic products that meet the requirements of the regulations and standards in Canada or via an equivalency arrangement with another country, but only for products that contain at least 95% organic ingredients. This logo is only permitted on products that are within the scope of the Canada Organic regime. Therefore, it is currently not allowed on organic textiles, health or beauty aids, or pet foods as examples. It's clear that Canadian consumers continue to trust the Canada Organic brand and the core logo. Their average weekly spend on organic groceries is almost $200. They continue to buy more organic than they did a year ago. Over half of Canadians say they trust Canada Organic certified, and they associate the core logo with non-genetically engineered, non-GMO, strong standards, animal welfare, the fact that it's good for the environment, and pesticide-free, and many perceive it to being more tasty and more healthy. We're going to go into some details now about labels that you'll see in Canada and what the rules are around organic certification and labeling. Regardless of whether a product is labeled on a farm, at a food manufacturer, or in a retail setting, the word organic has a defined meaning in Canada. This meaning is based on the regulation and standards that were introduced in Canada over a decade ago for organic food, drink, and livestock feed, and currently regulated under the Safe Food for Canadians Act. There are certain circumstances in which an organic item's production and labeling do not fall formally under these rules, such as for trade within a province that has not adopted the federal standard. However, this does not mean that there could be no repercussions from breaking these rules, as other Canadian regulations that govern consumer production and fraudulent or misleading labeling could be brought to bear. Products that display the word organic on their retail label fall into one of three categories. These categories are defined by the percentage of organic ingredients contained in that product. The claim seen most often at retail is organic when used as a descriptor for the common name of the product. Examples are organic chicken, organic orange juice, or organic granola. In this case, the word organic is part of the company name, Nature's Path Organic. This is considered an organic claim, and so the expectation is that companies using the word organic in their name are using only that for certified organic products. This is what the CFIA calls Category 1 organic products. The product must contain at least 95% certified organic ingredients and meet all other requirements of the Canada Organic regime in terms of production methodologies, maintenance of organic integrity, and traceability. What the CFIA calls Category 2 are products which contain between 70 and 95% certified organic ingredients. You'll note that the wording is not organic falafel, but instead is falafel that contains 75% organic ingredients. The last type of organic claim is where the word organic shows up only in the product's ingredient statement. This is for products containing less than 70% certified organic ingredients. You'll note that nowhere on this principal display panel does the word organic appear. Each of these three categories have different requirements in terms of the level of organic ingredients required, and also what elements of the label are required and permitted. We're going to look at each one in turn. In order to describe a product as organic, it must contain at least 95% certified organic ingredients. These products must also meet all other requirements of the core in terms of production methodologies, maintenance of organic integrity, and traceability. Instead of the word organic, phrases such as organically grown, organically produced, etc. may also be used. And these rules are in effect regardless of whether the word organic is shown in the name of the company, as is in the case here, or if it were to describe the product as organic granola. This is the only category of label in Canada that may display the Canada Organic Regime logo, the core logo. It is important to note that use of this logo is voluntary in Canada. In other words, while products labeled as organic must contain more than 95% organic ingredients, it is entirely up to the brand holder whether or not they want to use the core logo on their packaging. Shown here in the middle is the side panel of that same granola box. The name of the certification body who certified this product as organic must also appear on the label. Under the United States National Organic Program, the NOP, the requirement is that the name of the certification body must be shown as it is here, in the form of a certified organic by, QAI in this case, statement. It must also appear immediately below the name of the producer or distributor information on the label. Canada's requirements in displaying the certification body name are not as strict. It can appear anywhere on the label and does not require the certified organic by wording. Just the name of the certification body must be displayed. In this case, the operator chose to use both the core logo and the logo of their certifier, QAI. These are both voluntary. In other words, these logos do not have to be used, but if they are used, it is only permitted for products containing 95% or more organic ingredients. On products displaying the core logo, the words product of or imported must be shown in close proximity to the core logo in order to avoid confusion about whether or not this was a Canadian product. Finally, all organic ingredients must be called out as organic in the ingredient panel. In Canada, this allows a consumer to look at the ingredient list and determine whether, in fact, the item is made of all organic ingredients, in other words, is effectively 100% organic, or whether or not there are some other ingredients included. We'll be talking shortly about the restrictions on the 5% of ingredients that are permitted in non-organic form. Labeling on the Category 2 products, those containing between 70 and 95% organic ingredients, have different requirements. This cannot be called organic falafel because it doesn't contain at least 95% organic ingredients. Canada's requirement to specify the exact percentage, in this case 75%, provides consumers with more transparency regarding the product's specific organic content. In the United States, the organic regulations require that this category of product be labeled as made with organic blank, where the blank can be filled in by up to 3 ingredients or food groups. So in this instance, it might have been labeled made with organic chickpeas, onion, and tahini. This doesn't necessarily give the consumer as good of an idea, without looking at the ingredient panel for a bit of help, as to whether there's 70% organic ingredients in the product or 94%. You'll note that there is no Canada Organic logo or USDA logo on this display area. Same goes for the back display panel, because the core logo is only an option for products containing greater than 95% organic ingredients. This category of products must also show the name of the certification body on the label, just as is required for organic labeled products. Also similar to organic products, the ingredient statement needs to clearly identify which of the ingredients are organic. And so the consumer knows by looking at this that the 75% organic ingredients are made up in some configuration of chickpeas, onion, tahini, maca powder, lucuma powder, and mesquite powder. The final way in which the word organic can legally appear on a food product in Canada is within the ingredient statement. This is for products containing less than 70% certified organic ingredients. You'll note that nowhere on this principal display panel does the word organic appear. A closer look at the ingredient statement tells us that this product contains organic coconut flour and organic cane sugar. These two ingredients must make up less than 70% of all ingredients in the product formulation, but they are not permitted to identify anywhere else on the package that the product, for instance, contains 55% organic ingredients. So the word organic on this label only in the ingredient statement. There is no mention of a certification body and no use of the core logo. While Canadian consumers might see products labeled as 100% organic on store shelves, this label claim is not supported by regulations in Canada or Europe, only in the United States under the NOP, the National Organic Program. A common question for products labeled as organic is, can anything be used in the remaining 5% of an organic product? The short answer is no. Canada's organic standards lay out in detail how the calculation of organic content is to be performed. Canada, the United States, and the European Union all require at least 95% of a product's ingredients to be organic in order for the product to be called organic and for the product to display that country or region's organic logo. The three respective logos are shown in the bottom left corner of this slide. In Canada, if an ingredient is agricultural, it must be used in organic form unless it is not commercially available. The other prohibitions, however, still remain in place. This means that no genetic engineering, GMOs, irradiation, or nanotechnology are permitted, even within the up to 5% of non-organic ingredients that are allowed. If the non-organic ingredient is not agricultural in nature, it needs to be listed on the permitted substances lists. Examples from the label we just reviewed include sea salt and calcium hydroxide, neither of which are agricultural, so they cannot be certified as organic, but they do both appear on the PSL, the permitted substances lists. The PSL and standards are currently available free of charge for download. In order to determine whether an ingredient is permitted within the 5% allowance for organic labeled product, one can easily verify whether or not it is listed in the appropriate table of the PSL. The standards and permitted substances lists need to be revised every 5 years as part of the Canadian General Standards Board requirements, and the 2020 revision of the standard was finalized in the spring of this year, 2021. Within those lists, there are permitted substances list tables specific to crops, livestock, pest control, post-harvest storage, and sanitation activities. The specific lists describing what substances are permitted in processed food products are split into ingredients, food additives, and processing aids tables. Now that you have a bit of an understanding of what an organic product has undergone in order to hold that designation, let's talk briefly about imports. In Canada, we cannot grow cacao, bananas, or coffee beans. So how do organic standards work for products that are imported or exported? Products imported into Canada may be sold as organic in one of two ways. If the product is certified directly to the core, the Canada Organic Regime, or if the product is certified by virtue of an equivalency arrangement that Canada has with the country of origin for that product. So an example of the first would be a banana grower in Mexico who applies for certification to the Canada Organic Regime in order to export their bananas to be sold as organic in Canada. An example of the second is a banana grower in Costa Rica who, because of the Canada-Costa Rica equivalency arrangement, can have the bananas that are certified to the Costa Rica organic regulations exported and sold in Canada as organic. In either scenario, the expectation is that the organic products sold in Canada will follow the Canadian labeling rules. Equivalency does not mean identical. It means that the governments have reviewed each other's rules and the steps by which they are implemented and overseen, and they have come to a trade arrangement, which may or may not include specific callouts called critical variances. These arrangements help promote trade as they reduce costs for operators in not requiring them to have multiple certifications for the same product simply because it's going to different destinations. Canada currently has organic equivalency arrangements with the United States signed in 2009. 2 years later, the organic arrangement with the European Union was signed. The next year, 2012, came Switzerland. Costa Rica signed in 2013, Japan in 2014, Taiwan in 2020, and the United Kingdom began in 2021. Canada is currently in the process of negotiating with additional trading partners, including Mexico and South Korea. Each arrangement may be a bit different, and there are some with restrictions or additional requirements. An example of this is that hydroponic production, not grown in soil, it's allowed for organic production in the United States, but not in Canada. Therefore, any product certified to the United States National Organic Program must also have written documentation that confirms that hydroponic production was not used for that product or any of its organic ingredients if it's destined for sale in Canada as organic. Remember this very busy slide? We pulled out the ones that identify a product as having been certified to organic regulations overseen by the government. This is the Canada Organic logo. It can be used only on food products that are certified to the Canada Organic regime, either directly or by an equivalency arrangement, and contain at least 95% certified organic ingredients. This logo is optional, only used on a package if the producer wants it to be. Because of that very recognizable red maple leaf, the Canadian Organic regulations also require that any product that's imported displays the words product of or imported close to that logo to minimize confusion, as discussed before. This is the USDA's organic logo, overseen by the United States Department of Agriculture's National Organic Program. This means that the product inside is certified to the National Organic Program and contains at least 95% certified organic ingredients. This logo is also voluntary, so it's optional whether or not an operator chooses to display it on their package. This is the European Organic Program logo. All European producers making organic products containing more than 95% organic ingredients must use this logo on their packaging if it's made within the European community, whereas it's optional in Canada and the United States. Therefore, any European organic product that has come to Canada via the EU-Canada Organic Equivalency Arrangement will display this logo on the packaging. Some provinces in Canada have a provincial mandatory requirement for organic certification and have developed their own unique logos to guide consumers. This one is from Quebec, and this one is from British Columbia. In closing, remember that the most important wording on an organic label is the identification of the certification body, usually right next to the name of the manufacturer or distributor of the product. In addition to the name of the certification body, their logo may also be displayed on 95% and higher organic products, or that may be the only thing displayed if the full name of the certification body is contained within the logo. This slide displays some of the logos that may be seen on organic products in Canadian store shelves for CFIA accredited certification bodies active in Canada. These logos are owned by each respective certification body and must be only used when authorized by that certification body. Thank you very much for your interest in CODA's Organic 101 presentation. Be sure to take the Organic Week quiz now in order to be included in the prize draw. The contest is open until the end of the month.